Oh, Sister Krista would be here. I was hoping Sister Krista would be here. She was asking about the GMOs.
Oh, we got it on tape, Lindy.
Okay. Shalom, everyone. Okay. Today our topic is going to be GMOs. A lot of people want to know about GMOs. Now, what is GMO? Does anybody know?
Organisms.
Right. Okay. And this is where scientists find specific traits that they want in one organism. They extract the DNA and then they force it into another organism. That's basically how it's done. There's different methods that they use, but the main one is where they use bacteria
Mm.
to invade the cells
Mm.
of the host organism.
Is that like a form of cloning?
I think it is. Yes. It's like cloning.
Mm.
It's exactly like, yeah. And the most famous one is the tomato. The farmers were finding that in cold climates, the tomatoes would freeze at night, so they would lose their crops. But they also found that the flounder, the fish, the Arctic flounder, could withstand very, very low temperatures. So what they did, they got the trait that causes them to withstand these low temperatures, took the DNA from the flounder, forced it into the tomato plant. So now the tomatoes are able to withstand very, very cold temperatures. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. Yeah. So next I've got here why GMOs. Now they'll tell you that it's to end world hunger, which is not so, because there's enough food to feed everyone on the planet. The problem is the distribution of food.
Mm.
They also say that it's the most effective way to solve plant problems like pests and diseases. Okay, now, who produces GMOs? Does anybody know?
Scientists.
Yeah, there are certain companies. I'm going to call the names of these companies. See if you can see what they have in common. Monsanto, Bayer, Syngenta, DuPont, Dow. Do y'all recognize any of those? They're all chemical companies. That's the link between them. And the whole this GMO industry really started because they had a surplus of chemicals after World War II. They had a surplus of bond making materials. That's what they used to start the synthetic fertilizer industry. They had a surplus of nerve gas after World War II. And that's what they used to start the insecticide industry. Okay? Yeah. Scientists take life forms, add DNA to another life form, and they produce a completely different life form. It's an unnatural life form because it's not found in nature. Okay? They do this to animals, they do this to seeds, and guess what they do then? They patent it. Those animals and those seeds are patented.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, you have farms that use Monsanto seeds. Now, why would you use Monsanto seeds? Because they resist chemicals like Roundup. Okay, so they can spray as much Roundup as they want on the crops, and it'll kill everything but the crop. But what does it do to us, and what does it do to the soil? Yeah. And what happens if these farms are next to organic farms? Once the wind blows the seeds or the pollen over, it cross contaminates. And what Monsanto then does is that once their crop is cross contaminated, the next year their seeds are going to be contaminated. They then come in and say that they've infringed the patent rights. They can't plant those seeds. They take them to court. Yeah.
I think they call it. I think I seen something on TV about that. It was called seeding or something. They come and I guess if the farmers are keeping seed,
Yes.
I think they call it seeding.
Yeah. They're not allowed to keep seed. You have to go back each year to buy the seed from Monsanto. Plus, remember, these are chemical companies. You're buying the pesticides and everything. So it's like 2 in 1. Every year you have to keep going back and buying them. Yeah. And the organic, they're really trying to force them out of commission. So eventually, a lot of them have become bankrupt because they can't fight big companies like Monsanto. They can't do it. No. Now, where does our friends, the FDA, come in on this? You think they'd be looking out for us?
Yeah, it's supposed to be FDA approved. That's what we hear.
Nope. Nope. They leave the testing of these things to the chemical companies. And one director of communication, Monsanto, said it's not their place to prove how safe these products are. That's the FDA's job. That's what they're saying. See, this is why I keep saying we have to educate ourselves. Because there's nobody out there really fighting for us, the people. Now, is it safe? Now, there's no long-term studies to show that GMOs are safe. In fact, quite the opposite. 33% of GMO diet caused life-threatening diseases in lab animals. Independent studies have shown it can cause fertility, cancer tumors, organ failures, immune system failures, hole in the GI tract, and other such things in lab animals. And yet it's allowed to be on our shelves. And they do not have to label it.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. This, again, is why we have to educate ourselves. Okay. Now, the GMO plants do not absorb the nutrients from the soils like the regular plants. It's the different species. So obviously the food that's produced is nutrient dead, really. The nutrients we're supposed. Now already the Bible tells us that we should, plant and harvest everything for 6 years. The 7th year is supposed to be a Sabbath for the land. Yeah. In that year, the soil replenishes itself. Now, when was the last time that was done? So the soil is already depleted of a lot of the minerals that we're supposed to be getting in our diet. And now we add GMOs. So what is that doing to us as a people? Yeah. Okay. Now, what are the main GMO crops? Does anybody know? Sorry? Corn. Yeah, that's one of the main crops. What else? Anybody else know? Wheat. That's further down. They mess with the wheat, but corn, 98%.
So 98%
soy,
of corn is what?
GMO. Yeah, yeah. Soy. You have a lot of people a lot of vegetarians, and they become vegetarians because they want to become more healthy, but they don't realize they eat a lot of soy. I used to do it, not knowing the dangers. A lot of soy, 95% of soy is GMO. Yeah. Canola, cotton, these are all GMO products. So how can we avoid GMO? Yeah. Because you have the animals, right? If you say, well, okay, well, I want to eat meat, but the other is contaminated. If you drink milk, the cow is eating GMO grass, so it's coming out in the milk. So the best thing to do is to buy organic. It does cost more, but then we're gonna have to pay anyway. We either pay at the front end or the back end. Okay. So avoid anything with corn, soy, sugar. Sugar beet is GMO. Canola, cottonseed, dairy products, And these products are in everything. You know, once you become,
Yeah.
practically
Can't get
everything.
around it.
Yes, they put them in it. Yeah. So the best thing is to buy organic. And okay, now sugar's a big one for most people. Now I've got some good alternative is stevia, raw stevia. Raw local honey is really really good, especially if you have sinus problems. Take a yeah 2 or 3 teaspoons a day of raw local honey, and that'll help you. Coconut sugar, that's
You
another.
will find that at the organic stores or
Yes,
whole food stores.
yes. I like Earth Fare as opposed to Whole Foods. Sorry? Yeah, yeah. But then you know they have sales.
Really?
They do have sales though. Yeah. Well, I get emails.
It'd be like a regular price, but
Yeah. Just different things you hear about Whole Foods, like the food they produce is cooked in canola oil, and different things you hear about Whole Foods. You know, so I prefer Earth Fare as opposed to thing. I've never really been into the fresh market. Yeah, natural foods fine, but they're limited. They don't have that many things in there. But those are the two places that I think so. Anybody have any questions?
Well, that'd be a good midway point. You know, like we going from regular grocery store that's messing us up. So can we get in the middle to the fresh market, the Whole Foods, and then graduate to Earth.
But you know what I found in life? Sometimes we think we can't do something because for whatever reason it seems hard. But once we make our minds up,
Yeah.
you know, the Most High, He will make a way.
Right.
I found that. I found it for years. I said, oh, organic, that's too expensive. But there are ways, and like I said, they do have sales. You know, because I bought, what was it, stew beef that was on sale like 2 weeks ago, and it was just like $1 more than the regular. And this was grass fed, pasture raised. It was like $1 more. So you could go in each week, they'll have sales, catch the sales. Now, Aldi. Do anybody shop at Aldi? Yet not to me. That's the only store you can really see what you're paying for. Right. Now they have a section in there that have organic now, which is a lot less. Like the bananas, like 50 something cents, which is the regular price of bananas in the store. They have organic bananas, so that's but just sorry. Yeah, yeah, and I noticed they're adding more organic. I noticed Kroger has an organic section. Walmart has an organic section. So at least start somewhere, you know. We're not gonna get it 100% right, but if we kind of like aim for at least 75% right, I think we'll be fine.
Well, what about as far as seeds? That's what I said. Because I kind of want eventually want to start my own type of garden.
Right.
I'm gonna start small with a cup with a pot.
Yeah, yeah.
Clean out my whole backyard. See how I do with a pot and a seed.
You gonna get me one?
That's a start. But are the seeds contaminated also?
Oh yes, yes, yes. Even the plants when you buy the like the vegetable plants in the like Lowe's and Home Depot, they have hybrids. You look for heirloom.
Hello?
Heirloom.
Oh.
Heirloom seeds, yeah, and heirloom plants. Those are that plants and seeds that have been around for like hundreds and hundreds of years. So that would be the best. Yes, when you go for organic. Yes.
Question.
Uh-huh.
You said that they're gonna run these people out of business eventually.
Yeah, a lot of them are farming.
How far down the road is that?
Yeah, that's the thing. We really don't know. You know, we really don't know. But I do know that a lot of them are already become bankrupt. Yeah.
And I was watching a documentary, and they was talking to some of the organic natural farmers, and they was like, hey, you know, we want, and they was talking about some of the regular farmers too, like, hey, we really want to,
That's what they
you know, put good products out there, but when you're up against so much competition and you got a family to feed, you got a family to feed,
Yeah.
No alternative. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
They
So
were forced to eat this.
they force, yes, yes. But for me, I don't really don't understand. A lot of people now they have the information. Why don't people protest? You know, it seems like whatever's thrown at us, we just taking it and just running with it. You know, because if the people stand up and say no, you know, they have to. They did have a march a little while back. Thousands of people marched against Monsanto. I don't know how much that did to help the problem because we're so far in it. You know, it's difficult. Now, one of the things, like I said, they said they want to end world hunger, but they say that the GMO seeds are supposed to produce more, but it's the total opposite. It actually produces less. In fact, some of the third world countries, they had at one point started burning the crops because it wasn't producing what it used to before they started using GMO seeds. See, so it's really I think that the real reason behind it is money making. It's a money making. And now, if they put these DNA in the seeds and the animals and it becomes theirs, we're eating these GMO seeds. Will we eventually be patented?
Wow.
Will we eventually be their property?
Hmm.
Yeah. How far are they willing to go? Okay. 15 minutes. And I think we should remember the scripture too, where the Most High says, "Don't mingle the seeds."
Exactly.
Yeah. But like I was saying, the laws are being broken for us. We don't really, you know, even if you want to keep them, they're being broken before we even get the food in our tables. So, time to pray.
So but you couldn't get like organic produce and keep the seed from that, right?
Yes. 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 I'm sure eventually they'll come after the
Right,
regular
Yes,
man.
they will.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will.
They like the whiskey too.
Yeah. But that's really the best way. Start your own little organic garden. I've tried. I've got that clay soil, terrible soil. Yeah. You get. One year I got the tomato, planted tomatoes, lots of foliage, about 3 tomatoes.
Wow.
Yeah, my
Wow.
sister in the West Indies, she just throws seeds out, and the next thing, oh, vegetables. Yeah.
So,
Oh, Mary.
Okay. So that's it.
hey man, that was beautiful. So, that's what it's all about, and in the end, most out here begin to connect us with people that already got the mindset, got the understanding, like Mother giving us the teaching. Now we might run into somebody that actually already has the form that does all that and does all their own stuff, because I actually met somebody in a group of farmers in Atlanta that believe in the Hebraic way, and they produce their own everything from from their fruits to their meats to everything. And last time I was down there, I got a bag full of their fruits and vegetables, and you can tell the difference. I mean, even in the taste of the cucumbers and the taste of the tomatoes and taste of the potatoes and the different stuff that they had. Even the taste of the meat that I bought from it was just like it was different. But they in Atlanta, so that's like 2 hours. That ain't something that you do every weekend. But I know it's just a matter of just getting out there talking, to people, because a lot of little farmers that be on the side of the road, a lot of other little groups out there that you never know what they understand and what they know and why they're doing what they're doing. So, it just take time getting out there and talk. But all right, we finna get ready to get started. That was a beautiful job. And we're going to talk about, since, like I said, some have already celebrate Tabernacle, and then Tabernacle is coming up. You have different people that believe at different seasons, different times that it is. And that's why it's important when Messiah come back, he gonna set everything in order. Make sure we understand everything. So we're going to talk a little bit about, just like in Passover, we talked about the second Exodus. And we're going to talk about the wilderness experience after the second Exodus. But let's lead up to, and we're going to try to find ourselves in today and relate it to prophecy. But it's just I'm not going to go too deep. So we'll see where we end up. I might do a series and then we'll get back on the teaching of proving who we are and getting done with that. Okay, let us, everybody turn to Exodus. Because it's important to look at the things that happened leading up to the first Exodus and parallel that to the second Exodus according to prophecy. And I know some of this might be new to us, hearing about us, but like the scripture says, that the Messiah didn't come to abolish the law or the prophets. And when it talks about the prophets, that's the prophecies that the prophets stood on. He said, heaven and earth are not one jot or tittle shall by any means pass away from the law until all be fulfilled. So it's different things that we must understand that hasn't happened yet. And this is why I say that the Messiah cannot just return at any time by saying he can be here tomorrow. Yeah. He can't, according to prophecy. Because he said the things that the prophets have said must come to pass before his return. And he said after all these things, even after the tribulation, then he said he's going to break and then he's going to come. So it's different things that must, and that's why it's important to understand, the Torah and the prophecies, because that's foundational so we can see where we are and where we're going. So let's go to Exodus real quick. Let's start at verse 5. And it says, and all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. So we understand that Joseph was like second in command in Egypt. Verse 6, it says, Joseph died, and all his brethren and all that generation. And the children of Israel, they were fruitful and increased, and abundantly they multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was full with them. Now there rose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are come more, and they are mightier than we are. Come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when they falleth out any war, that they join our enemies and fight against us, so get them out of the land. Therefore they did set them taskmasters to afflict them with burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasured cities, Python and Ramesses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. Now we see that after Joseph's reign, we got to remember now how we're going to relate that to the day. Joseph was reigning in Egypt. So there was, in a sense, a assimilation of the Egyptians and the Israelites. They had high positions in Egypt. They had good jobs, good places to stay, a lot of livestock. They was considered, high-ranking citizens. They even have books out there that talks about the Hebrew pharaohs that ruled in Egypt. That's something that might be shocking. But it came a time where that began to stop, and affliction began to take over. So, and it talks about how they began to multiply at a rapid rate that the Pharaoh of Egypt was saying that we got to do something about it. Now, what is one thing, and I always like to relate stuff to prove who we are. What is one thing about us that is apparent globally with us in a sense of multiplication? A lot. We multiply. We have children at a faster rate than any other nation globally. Because if you look at America, we might seem by the minority, but you look globally, you will see as far as the multiplication and different things that happen in that nature. But we are a people that really should be annihilated when you look at all the things that we have been through as a nation of people, just here in America. There's no way we should be as strong as we are now. But as the affliction grow, and one thing about us, if you want to straighten us out, just like if you want to straighten your kids out, what you got to do? We're known by what? The belt. So, of affliction. So in order to get us in the right, watch what all this stuff started doing in America. We're looking at all this killing, not just in America, but the whole Western Hemisphere. Start paying attention to what it started doing to us as a nation. Well, we began to start looking at ourselves, putting down differences, and realize that we got to bond together. Just look at it now. You got the Bloods and the Crips that's been killing each other for no reason. But because of the affliction, they putting down their rags and saying, we got to come together. Watch the music start changing. Now, the music right now is retarded, that our young people listen to. But think about the messages that was in the music with our parents in the 60s, the type of music and stuff that was coming out because of the civil rights movement. So watch how things start cleaning up. Now, it's going to cleanse in a certain way, where you're looking at a lot of people getting cleansed in different religions, and God got to allow this stuff to happen. It's just hard to watch before your eyes when you start looking at stuff and you like, man. But he allows this stuff to happen because he's trying to get us to a certain point. And remember, God is not emotional.
Right.
He's not emotional like that at all. We can look at this stuff and say, where is God? Where's the Most High? I mean, this is hard to fathom and to look at, and look at us killing ourselves and killing each other, and we get killed, systematically. But he looks at it and allows it to continue. Why do you think he allows it to continue? Got to get us to a certain point. What else? No answer is the wrong answer.
Well, if this stuff is supposed to happen, because of what he had already promised. So that's why he's sitting back and watching it. But he's also trying to draw his people in.
Exactly. Because our future is his past. It has already seen all this stuff. So he has, and the only thing he's bound by is his word. So no matter how terrible a situation is, he's not moved by something unless it is by something that he has spoken. So it don't matter. Just think about your own situation. You can holler, scream, and cry all you want and be like, God, what in the world is going on? But it ain't until you align yourself right with him and align yourself to what he has spoken, then your situation change. But it always starts with a mind change and a heart change. Where you fed up with yourself, you fed up with somebody, or you fed up with a situation, and God pushes you towards that. He pushes you till you realize, Lord, I surrender. And a lot of the stuff we crying at the altar ain't about because of the situation. It's about we done did everything we tried to do. And all of it is failing. So we just died, Lord. God, we done did everything. And he wants you right there. So your dependency will be on him. And that's why he's going to start taking away government stuff that we've been dependent on, that we've laying on. And then he's going to show the world how he's going to supply his people. You will have to know that it's him. So it's something that he's doing. But what was smart about America during this time that they set up as a ruler? Obama would have been the perfect deflection. While all these plans are going on behind the scenes, we just happy that a black man is in the office. So by that deception, I can have all this stuff happening leading up. Now, if you think about that, if Al Gore or somebody else would have won, we would have been fed up way before this. We would have been just raising, saying, going crazy. But it was a way to quiet us down till they get everything in place. And you look at what Obama did. Obama has done nothing for black people at all, but we love him because he's intelligent, he's smart, he's the best image that has ever been in the White House with husband and wife, but we don't look at what he does.
Right.
And he has done more for the gay agenda than for black people, period. And people don't realize what they did when they put their signature on him, just because him being black. Now, if you look at the laws that he enacted, you go back and look at that stuff, it's insane. Well, let's keep going. So let's go to Exodus 3. So we're seeing that the affliction is beginning to start. In verse 9. It says, now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel has come to me. So God has to get us to a place where we begin to cry. Not just tear crying, but we begin to wonder what in the world is going on. Why is all this stuff happening? How can we just see that? The videotape and all this type of stuff is showing that, but nothing is happening. Let's keep reading. I have seen the oppression where the Egyptians oppressed them. Come now, therefore, and I will send them unto thee, unto Pharaoh, that they may bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. So, it's the Most High's, is it his plan to deliver us and leave us in the places that we are. So, is anything going to happen to change America?
No, not
and their image and view?
No, not America.
So it don't matter what, all the marching, all the type of stuff that we try to do, it's not going to work. Because why? It ain't designed to work. It ain't designed to be beneficial. You understand what I'm saying? Because if it was going to work, it will go against God's prophecy of what he's saying. So he can't leave us in the place of what? Our captivity. Now, a lot of people might say, man, this ain't no place for our captivity. We good. We got jobs. We got houses. We got cars. But all that is given to you off your what? Enslavement. Because the only way that you can have the big houses, big cars is you work for their companies. You build their kingdom. And for trade of that, I give you money. But on the books, you still considered not even a citizen of America. You see what I'm saying? So it's important to understand prophetically. Now, this is not a campaign against America. But if you do some study on America, you'll begin to understand that it was never for you. From the time of slavery all the way up until today. It was never for you. And it ain't supposed to be. And that's why Most High don't never want us to get completely comfortable. So let's see where we are going. Let's go to Jeremiah 16. Because we see we got to get to the point of affliction and the point of crying out. Now, and what's forms of crying out where it says God's heard the cry of the Egyptians? What's forms of that we can say? Prayer, right living, okay. I didn't hear you. A pure heart, in a sense. Seeking him. All those things as forms of us crying out. Just even people having meetings, the people that, and we got to realize that even outside of our paradigm of thinking, that people are coming together everywhere and just having meetings about different things that are going on. That's a form of crying. Because we realize there's an extreme problem and everybody has anguish of heart because of what they see. So it's important to understand where we're going and what's going on. And at the end, we're going to show you, might not be today, but we're going to show you that the fullness of the new covenant haven't came yet. A lot of times we say we're in the new covenant because of the Messiah and all that, but the fullness of it is not here. You understand what I'm saying? And we're going to show you that according to what it says, that he's going to make a new covenant with who? But what it says specifically, with Judah and with Israel. All right. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 16. Let's start at verse 14. Well, I'm in Isaiah. Let me get over there. Somebody start reading that for me. Jeremiah chapter 16. So we begin to see that just as affliction began to multiply in Egypt, it's going to happen also around the world in waves. Because now it's the Western Hemisphere time at a greater level to start seeing affliction. Think about it. All over there in the Eastern Hemisphere, in different places, and places in Africa, and places in Iran, different places where our people, even in Israel now, where our people are, they've been having affliction at a greater level than we've been having when it comes to time periods. Now, when we first came over here as slaves, our affliction was greater than other places, but it begins to float around, and now it's coming back to where we are in the Western Hemisphere. We're starting to see greater affliction and different things starting to ramp up and happen to us. You understand what I'm saying? That's making sense. So we begin to see that the affliction had to happen. Now God is allowing this to happen to allow us to take off every God that we believe in. So all these people that believe in Buddhism, that believe in Confucius, some of us that believe in the wrong aspect of Christianity, all this stuff is finna fail. Because he got to cleanse us of all this stuff. So he allows these things to happen for us to show that the gods that we trusted in, it's not coming through for us. But the only people that have the answer is the people that have the right understanding of this, according to prophecy. We making sense? Okay. So we understand that the groaning of God began to hear the cry. And God began to, let's read Jeremiah chapter 16. Let's start at verse 14.
Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he hath driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. So
we're seeing that he said, the Lord liveth, that is going to become a time that it will no longer be said, the Lord liveth that brought out the children of Israel out of Egypt. But the Lord that liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of the what? The land of the north. And every place that we were scattered. Now, some people translate that land of the north being North America. You can say that prophetically, but they cover everything out of every land that we was driven. So this, and we remember how miraculous coming out of the land of Egypt was. When he brought the 10 plagues, it was amazing. The most amazing thing on earth, so amazing that thousands of years later, we still talking about it. But he said this time, it's going to be something way greater than that you won't even talk about Egypt no more. That you'll be talking about how God, because why would it need to be greater? That's it. It would have to be greater because we were scattered all over. At that time, we was in one place. So it took what? One deliverer, which was Moses. But now, deliverers have to be raised up because we are scattered everywhere. So this mass exodus is going to be something greater that the world has never seen because of everywhere that we have scattered. he's going to have to do something to identify who his people are and begin to bring them out. How I know that? Because in the first Exodus, he brought the plagues, but he showed the difference of his people. He identified who they were because nothing happened to Goshen. So there was a direct identifier letting the world know these are my people, the children of Israel. That's their God. Because it's darkness, so dark in Egypt, God had it came that they can feel the darkness. That's how dark it was. But in Goshen, it was a light shining. What did that do? That identified who he's coming for. Now, did he reject the other nations that wanted to come with Israel? That was committed? So is he going to reject all the nations that are pure in heart that want to come with Israel? That impurify their souls and purify their heart? No. But he has to do something in a miraculous way that's going to identify to the world and confirm who Israel is. That's going to be great. And now the 144,000 that's in the book of Revelation chapter 7, is going to be the deliverers rather than one deliverer. Because you got one place, but now you need Moseses everywhere that'll begin to raise up the tribes or raise up those that want to hear about the return. You understand what I'm saying? But what had to think about this? The importance of the Messiah. Before God can do anything, he had to slay what? In Egypt. He told them, get ready to go, but some has to die first. Israel. Some had to die for Israel. The lamb. And they put what? The blood around what? The doorposts. That happened before the deliverance. Right? So all their sins begin to be predicated upon the law of sacrificial offerings. Right? So what has to happen? Why it was so important for the Messiah to come before the deliverance? He's the what? So he died for the sins of what? The world. So he had to come and die before God began to recover his people. Now it seems like it's a long time in between when he died, but he had to atone for our sins first. So God would have an opportunity now to deliver his people. Because if he didn't, we'll be forever in darkness or forever in a scattered situation. But because the lamb died first, just as the lamb did, now all their sins can be put on the lamb. Give him a predicated way now that I can come and deliver the people. Because he said, when I bring you into the land, your sins will I remember no more. Because he understands you being in different captivities brought even a greater influence on your sinful nature that's against me. So I can't hold you completely accountable for all the things you messed up on because of where you were. But because you still decide amongst all that, with all these influences around you, you still decide to commit unto my name. I got a greater blessing that's going to be for the overcomers. Overcoming even in the land of their captivity. Still serving me. We understanding that? Amen. Am I making sense? Okay.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Would that be like Pharaoh in that day? Like, would they want to hold us back?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want us to leave his land?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's why it talks about even in Psalms chapter 2 that why did the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? What's the vain thing that is imagining now? Because the heathen is raging. What's the vain thing that's that? And I like to deal with us because we're in America. So what are the vain things that are being imagined right now while we're in America? Because we see the heathen is going crazy. The music industry going crazy. Every industry going insane. Folks killing each other. So the vain thing, I'll give you the answer. The vain thing is to imagine that everything is just going to end up being all right. Because we love this land. We are one family. We are one unit. Quit bringing the divide. because y'all are our families. But like I tell people, this land been divided since our ancestors came over here. But they're giving us an illusion that we together until you are faced with the reality that you are who you have been since the foundation of you coming over here. And all of us done had that reality. Well, we done been done wrong in a certain way at a grocery store or on our job. And we know it's nothing but because of our skin color or because of who we are. Then you realize that there's a divide here. There's an institutional aspect of, we don't even like to say this word, white supremacy. We don't like to say it. See how quiet again we say that? We don't like to say that. But it's reality. And you ain't no just pro-black power by saying it. It's institutionalized in our education and our government and every aspect of our life. Go ahead.
Is it really just something that we would say is white supremacy when all the nations are, looking at us like, you belong down there. We have it. You got your Asians, you got your Indians, and we are all, by all of those nations, we're looked at as inferior, as all the stereotypes we fit. I actually had a Hispanic man that was surprised that I was with my children's father.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, your children's father, that's your husband. Yeah.
But that's the imagery that is portrayed over here. And then once you even go to Psalms 83, you look at all the nations that was compacted against Israel. So a lot of this stuff is generational hatred that we are seeing. But when the setting up of America, it was the whites that set up white supremacy here. And you might have Arabs that's selling it, set it up in different other places. You see what I'm saying? Right. But over here, it had to be based off skin color, the supremacy wise. You see what I'm saying? So, and it wasn't nothing you did, but it's because of who you are. And then it goes back to genetics. Because when they begin to, and I always go back to when Alexander the Greek began to take over the world and they began to rule different places and go in and take people captive, they began to mix their seed with the natives there. But they realized, because they wanted to bring everybody into them and begin to have their name live forever. But they realized that every time we mix with a person of color or certain people, their children come out looking like them. So they began to realize that genetically, that we are superior to them. And eventually, if this stuff keep happening, their race will be wiped out. So this is why they set up systematically ways to just kill you because of your genetics. And that's why they kill you for your organs. They kill you for different studies because they help them genetically. So if I keep my governments over you, then I can make sure that my nationality don't get wiped out by oppressing and killing you systematically. So you can say, I ain't going to get involved in a race war. You're involved because of who you are. So I don't care what you try to say. I ain't in it right there. No, it don't matter. Yeah, I got to kill you. But I ain't said nothing. I ain't been outspoken. You got to die. Because if you mess with Judy, the child going to come out like you. So this is why they would even make units of slaves. Why would they start targeting the slave population, meaning the male private parts? Why they start cutting those things off and different things like that? Because that was like a gun to them. Because the more that produced that can wipe us out as a whole. Unless I'm producing and breeding this for my financial benefit. Now we don't need y'all no more. So we start killing y'all. In your face now. First is with the mixing of the seed in the food. I'm going to kill you with food. I'm going to kill you in every area because I can't make it obvious to you. But I'm going to put y'all in one area in every city and begin to put the poorest eating things in that area. I'm going to put even the abortion clinics in that area. I'm going to put the worst type of food because you'll do what's convenient. You'll eat what's convenient to you. It's there. So you don't realize that you're accepting your own demise by what you don't reject. And they do studies where I study a lab rat. And see how that does. It was a study done on the lab rat. I'm looking at this video where they began to solidify these lab rat, this lab family in this one area. And as they began to feed the family stayed together. The rats were happy. Everything was good. But they began to take food away systematically from them rats. And the father began to turn on the mother. The mother began to turn on the children. They was able to see the effects of taking away the need by isolating the people to a certain area. Now think about isolating us to the ghettos, giving us poor education, taking away food opportunity, taking away job opportunity, and making it hard for them. They begin to turn on each other and then add drugs to that neighborhood. And they begin to, because my family gonna live, so I can't look at us as a united front no more. I got to sell you this drug and get you hooked on that. Because really, the drug game can really get done within a year's time if you begin to go to the sources. These young men ain't going way over there to Cuba and all these places getting these drugs. But notice, I was even with the jury dude, and I asked the policeman, I was like, man, well, he was talking about a drug dealer going to Atlanta, and he was like, yeah, he had to wait till he come back to Augusta, and he got him. I was like, well, look, y'all can't track up to Atlanta, find out where that source, then track up. He said, no, we don't do that. He said, we only deal with what's here in Augusta. Now, we got people in Atlanta, but we're going to wait till they come back. I said, y'all don't source it out? No, because it ain't set up to do that. Right. It's set up to set up jails. It's set up all these type of stuff, because in the 1960s, 60 to 75% of people that was in jail was Caucasians. Yeah. I want to say 75%. Yeah. How did that change to over the 85 to 95% is us now? They said we got to do things systematically. Build these jails, because in the Constitution it says that slavery is abolished unless it's punishment for crime. Now I can put you in jail and make you a slave again, working for big not congregations, but companies. Go ahead.
And then you can see the whole fight behind it, because I mean, just look at it. You get knocked for something. Possibly something you didn't even do. You're black man. Lawyers are so expensive, they set you up with public defenders working for the state that's coming against you. Wow. So I heard somebody say this, and it kind of blew my mind. He said public defenders are set up to make it look like you're getting the right shake of justice as fast as possible. That's why they only meet you a couple of days. They don't know about you. Don't know about your family. They don't really do no researching. That's why they give them so many cases. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're there 8 hours a day defending people they are. They don't know who they are.
That's right.
And so and then they present them so much with a choice. Hey, take a plea deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's awful. Well, let's keep going. Verse 15. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he hath driven them. And I will bring them again into the land that I gave to their fathers. Watch this. Behold, I will send for fishers, said the Lord, that shall fish for them. After I will send for many hunters that shall hunt for them, from every mountain and from every hill, and out of all the holes of the rocks. For my eyes are upon all their ways, and they are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity from my eyes. And first I will recompense their iniquities, their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled my inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable thing. So we're able to see that something greater than Egypt is on the way. Let's look at Jeremiah 23 now. It's two places that you can go and see about the second Exodus. Jeremiah 23, starting at verse 7 and 8. It says, therefore, behold, the days come, meaning it's not here yet. Before the days come, said the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but the Lord liveth which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries where the Lord hath driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. So we're seeing that we're going to be led into that place. Okay? So we see there was infliction in Egypt that happened first. We seen all those type of things. We understand that the lamb had to die first, and we understand that the lamb had to die for our sins, which is the Messiah first. But when the lamb died first in Egypt, have they set a covenant with the Most High yet? No. And I'm gonna let that sink in. When the lamb died in Egypt, did they set a covenant when that lamb died? That atoned for their what? Sin. So the Most High will have an opportunity to redeem them. Because without the sacrifice's blood is what? No remission of sins. So when the lamb, which is the Messiah, died, did the covenant start? The new covenant. In a sense.
Yeah.
But its full fulfillment has not been fulfilled completely yet. We understand it? Okay. Now, let's go to Isaiah 11. So we understand that there's the second Exodus, and all this is leading into what happened when the Most High tabernacle with them. We're going to start at verse 11. 11 and 11. It reads, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again." What time? The second time, to recover the remnant of his people. So that let us know this haven't been fulfilled yet. So can the Jewish people, then when they say that the prophecies have been fulfilled with them returning to the land, has it happened yet? Because if it was to happen again, that would be a third. You see what I'm saying? That'll be a third recovering or regathering. So we understand that somebody lying. "And it shall come to pass that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, from Egypt, from Pathros, from Cush, from Elam, and from Shinar, from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth." That's an important scripture, but I'm not going to deal with it completely right now. Verse 14, "But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west, and they shall spoil them with the east together, and they shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. And the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea." Watch this. "And with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the rivers, and shall..." Now, think about what happened when they came out of Egypt. Look at the miracles that's going to start happening. Verse 15, "And the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea. With his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it with 7 streams, and make men to go over dry soil." So this showing in different areas, and I'm going to show you in different areas that he are leading us out, there's going to be miracles happening. Just as it happened in the Red Sea, different areas that we are at with boundaries we can't get through. Now, every area we at, we ain't going to have to worry about no walking through dry soil. But some people, and in some areas, because they're scattered on the 4 corners of the earth, he's going to show signs and wonders that he's going to begin to spread rivers and spread oceans so they can walk over dry soil, just as it did in what? The first Exodus. Let's keep reading. "And shall smite 7 streams to make men go over dry soil, and there shall be an highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day that they came up out of the land of Israel." So we're looking at a highway. We're looking at a remnant. Now, let's go to Ezekiel. No, not yet. Let's see. We're seeing some of the stuff that's going to happen on the way. Let's look at some other miracles that is going to be happening on the way to the wilderness. Let's look at Isaiah 35. No, let's go to Isaiah 43 first. Isaiah is packed, y'all. Isaiah 43, let you know
43 and 18. You got it? This is some of the stuff that's going to happen on the way. Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the old thing. Don't worry about that Exodus right there. That's former. Watch this. Behold, I will do a what? New thing. Now it shall spring up forth. Shall ye not know it? He said, when it spring up forth, shall you not know it that I'm doing something new? Now, a lot of times in most churches, we make this spiritual. And ain't nothing wrong. Yeah, I mean, you can make that spiritual. God do new things all the time when you got yourself together. You think it's new, but you going back to what he originally told you to do. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I'm the God of all the earth. So when I do something, everybody going to see it and know. I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Letting you know he ain't talking about something that didn't happen. He talking about this going to be a new thing. I ain't talking about when y'all was in the former things in the wilderness. The beasts of the field shall honor me, the dragons, the owls, because I give rivers in the wilderness, rivers and in the desert, and to give drink to my people, my children. This people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praises. So we're going to be praising God on the way as we see the miracles and different things that is going to be happening. And all of us going to be able to see that this is something that amazing. This is a new thing. And he said, even the beasts of the field, we ain't going to have to worry about no wild beasts coming out there and tearing us up, and children afraid and all that type stuff. He said, no, I'm going to have the beasts honor you. They're going to bow to you. They're going to reverence you. Because the whole earth is waiting on your manifestation. All right. Now, boy, this is going to be something right here. Let's go to Isaiah 35. Now, this is on the way. This is on the way now. Isaiah 35. I love this one here. And then I'm going to go to what's going to be set up. Again, it's an introduction. Isaiah chapter 35, starting at verse 1. Look how I keep talking about that wilderness. The wilderness, a solitary place, shall be glad for them. This place here going to be glad for them. So how's the wilderness going to show it's glad? The same way it was showing that it was glad when they went into the first wilderness. Bringing water, having food come out of the sky. All those type of things is going to be happening, but it's going to be to a greater level. Because the stuff that he did in the former times ain't going to compare the stuff he's going to do now. He said, they shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as a rose. And it shall blossom abundantly. No GMOs going to be there. Rejoice even with joy and singing. We're going to be being joyful and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it, and the excellency of Carmel and Sharon. They shall see the glory of the Lord and the excellency of our God. Watch this. Strengthen ye the weak hands and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of a fearful heart. Don't worry about what's going on now. Don't be fearful. He says, be strong, fear not. Behold, your God will come with vengeance, even God with a recompense. He will come and save you. So use this to give you strength during this time, because there's another scripture that says, haven't I told you these things are going to happen? Why are you afraid? Yeah. Don't allow this to discourage you. I'm working on something. Your redemption draweth nigh. These things must happen. And what the Messiah said, this is the beginning of sorrows. Don't let your heart be discouraged. There you go. Verse 5. Watch this. Watch the miracles. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped, and the lame man will be leaping as a horse. So nobody on wheelchairs, nobody deformed. All these miracles he's going to be working through the leaders that he set up to lead them out. Just like he set up Moses. We're going to be laying hands. Eyes going to be open. Ears going to be going open. Everybody, the legs going to be growing out. We're going to be seeing miracles upon miracles on our way. Then shall the lame man leap as an hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert. The parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land shall spring of waters, and the habitation of dragons where each lay shall be grass and reeds. So we shall, as we begin to go, we shall start seeing pools of water coming out. Trees begin to grow and habitate. Miracles upon miracles are going to be able to happen, and we're going to see it. Watch this. Verse 8, and a highway shall be there, a way into it shall be called the way of holiness. So you're going to have to be holy. You're going to have to be holy. The way of holiness, the unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those, the wayfaring men, though fools shall not err therein. No lion shall be there, nor ravenous beast shall go up therein. It shall not be found there, but the redeemed will walk there. And the ransom of the Lord shall return and come to Zion with what? Songs. Who are known for singing? Singing songs of Zion. Now, I don't know if it's going to be no shout music and all that. You know, all that type of stuff. Ain't no keyboards going to be there. And organs. You never know. You know. You're right. With songs of everlasting joy upon their heads, they shall obtain joy and gladness. And watch this. Sorrow and sighing shall flee away from them. Ain't that amazing? Now, let's go to Ezekiel 20. And let's look at this with them. Now, this is stuff that was going to be happening on the way to in the wilderness. We're going to see miraculous things. And like I said, just as Moses was deliver words, will begin to raise up and prepare the people for the return. Ezekiel 20 and 33. Watch this. And it says, Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 33. As I live, said the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out, will I rule over you. I will bring you out from, watch this, I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out the countries where you were scattered, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. How do we know that some of those people are going to be us? What did he just say in this? Were we scattered? 20 and 33. Were we scattered?
Yes.
All right. I will bring you from the people, and I will gather you out of the countries wherein you were scattered. Then with a mighty hand, with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out, I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there I will plead with you face to face. Like as I, this going to show you it ain't spiritual right here. So I'm gonna bring you out from the people, out of the country. So I'm gonna give you some miraculous things and all these type of stuff. Then it's gonna be trying time, cause you ain't just gonna walk off in the land, and you ain't right. I'm gonna give you opportunity, but trying time is gonna happen because we even got some that heart is connected, but they still ain't completely came out of being okay with sin.
Right.
So God gonna have to purge that. All right. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there I will plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of Egypt. So will I plead with you, said the Lord. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond, watch this, of the covenant. So the fulfillment of the covenant or marriage vow is going to happen now. Watch this. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. And I will bring them forth out of the countries where they sojourn. And they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Lord. Letting you see that it's going to be some purging even going on in the wilderness. Because a lot of us still going to have America in us. Still going to have Jamaica in us. Still going to have Cuba in us. Still going to have Europe in us, Australia in us, Africa, all that type of stuff we learn wherever we scattered. He got to purge that out completely. And this is why it's important to get your heart right now. Learn how to not to grumble and complain. So what was one of the main things that messed Israel up? Grumbling and complain. Even though they seen all the miracles. That's why I know, because we are a stiff-necked, hard-headed, hard-hand, self-wanted people. You can been and did everything for us all year, and we still want some more.
That's true.
So God is He's gonna purge out rebels. So that was just a introduction into it, but I want to show you systematically how things are going to happen and what it's going to end up to. The affliction that's going on, that's going to lead into deliverers being birthed out, that's going to lead into a way being prepared in the wilderness, the miraculous thing that's going to be happening even in the land, because God had to show a difference between the Egyptians and the land of Goshen back in Egypt. So he's going to show a difference in all of the world who his people are. Because he said, after the times of the Gentiles came in, after I have got all the Gentiles that came in unto my name, you can read Acts 15 and read that. He said, then I'm going to turn back to my people and build back up the walls of Jerusalem. And we're living in that time now. Don't know how long it's going to be. Don't know if it's going to be in our lifetime or our children's lifetime. But it is something that they should know, and we should teach them to prepare and be ready for. Okay? So I'm going to do like a little series on this, go into more detail about the wilderness, go into more detail and more scriptures on different things that are going to be happening. Because in the Feast of Tabernacle, we're supposed to celebrate what the Most High did when he brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, and they dwelt in booths, and he was their provider at that time. So we're supposed to celebrate that and look forward to the next Exodus and the next time we're in the wilderness. I know this is different. I know it's different. I know a lot of times all we hear is, well, God gonna return in the clouds, and that's just gonna be it. So just get your heart and get your house in order. But it's systematically things that are supposed to happen according to the prophets, because not one of their words is gonna fail. All right, anybody got any quick questions? Because we're a little bit over time. Everybody understand it? Okay, do anybody disagree? It's all right to disagree. Is it kind of hard to take in? I tell you, it was hard for me at first. Like, man, you talking about a second Exodus? You talking about going into some wilderness and God gonna plead and talk to us?
Let me ask you a question. Oh, go ahead.
Let him go first.
No, but I was just about to say, I had some questions. I had some, just thinking like, how's it gonna happen? But then those scriptures are showing, especially when it talks about, if you talk about scattering before corners, like, okay, so we just gonna get on boats.
I don't know. That's something that we're gonna have to do deeper study on to find out, and then we truly won't completely find that out until it start happening. Because I really don't know how. It ain't like God can't, like you gotta talk to Moses. And then you got so many people that'll say God spoke to them. So it can't be no thing of one man God gonna speak to him, then all of us say, let's go over here. Let's go over there. So it's gonna have to be something. I think really the ministry of visible angels is gonna come back. I think we're gonna start seeing that. Where we are either gonna be, led by them, because we talk about fishers gonna go and seek them out, and hunters gonna go and seek them out. So I think angelic beings, because the closer we get to the end time, we're gonna see manifestations like we never seen before. Even a manifestation of fallen angels, and they begin to reveal themselves in a greater light. And when you get studying about them, they can be among us right now. They can be government officials right now. People that just have body but soulless. What's the point of cloning? It's a habitation for a spirit. Because God is the only one that can create spirits. So if you create a clone, you ain't created the spirit. It's just a habitation. It's a shell. So who are really walking among us? Go ahead with your question, brother.
Would that be like the second witness? Would that be like he was talking about the one should be the two should be in the field and one taken and the other one. Would that be something like that? Like when he comes and then he speaks something, and if we are God's people, then one of us leave. I heard his voice, and the other stand behind.
Well, that takes a little bit more. That's another discussion. But some of the things, if you look at it, it says, "As in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the sons of man."
Yeah.
Who was taken in the days of Noah?
The ones that didn't listen.
The one that didn't listen. But a ark of safety was given to those that did listen. Right? Now you got Israel that have been in their tribulations ever since they broke the covenant. But he said there's another tribulation that's going to come and try who? The world. Israel ain't going to go through all this tribulation, then get another tribulation. So it's going to be a tribulation for during the time that Israel and the people that's connected to Israel that's going to be going into the wilderness in the second Exodus, it's going to be a tribulation that's going to be trying the whole world to prove them. Now, we're gonna study that. I say that. I can't go into because I'm finna go into something and it's 2:42 right now. We like 12 minutes over. But that's a great study that we all need to study and bring that together. Because even some books in Apocrypha talk about how even in the scripture where it talks about the meek shall inherit the earth. There's something that is saying with that. So it's gonna be some destruction that happened. You know, you can take that in a sense both ways because God did, in a sense, take Noah and all his family.
Yeah.
Take them in the boat. But he destroyed the enemies that are around them. So some of the people that's going to be destroyed and taken away because of the judgment is the enemies of God. But how is he going to do that? He's going to take them away when the Messiah comes. And when the Messiah comes, ain't going to be no turning no cheek. He's going to be bathed in his sword, what the scriptures say, with blood. Killing, annihilating to such a point where he allowed them, boy, I'm going to show you Tuesday about the weapons and prophecy that he allowed them to build, that they somehow think going to come against him, to get them on the level where they think they are. It said he's going to be in such a way that because of the power that he's going to display against them, that their skin is going to be falling, their tongue going to melt even before they be destroyed. Talking about nuclear weapons that they trying to develop now. But God going to use all their own stuff against them. You see what I'm saying? And it's stuff that they got in the atmosphere because they know he's going to return. And they preparing themselves and getting ready for him. But the stuff that, satellites and stuff like that, but the stuff that he going to do, like I said, they're going to be like, well, God, you done been in the wine press. That's how you been in the wine press because he's going to have so much blood on his garments. Then he's going to put some on us that we're going to fight with him as Judah in some aspects. So it's going to be something.
Yeah.
It's going to be something, but it's going to be a show enough battle against the wicked of this world and him at his return. I know that's something we don't hardly hear because we all about, you know, beat me up. Or